Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you some very useful settings for your Samsung Galaxy S24 to improve your Wi-Fi performance, to get the most out of your cameras, and even better, to send files, photos, and videos to any phone, including iPhones. Oh, and also, just in case you're interested, you have links down below in the description for the best Galaxy S24 cases. So at the end of the video, you can go take a look. But anyways, that being said, let's begin with the first setting to change on your phone. Let's tap on the Settings app, scroll all the way down to Device Care, and come down to Performance Profile. As you can see, there's two options on the S24. We have Standard, which is basically the default option, and it's going to give you a good balance between performance, battery life, and temperature. And then you have the Light option, which is going to prioritize battery life and temperature above processing. In this case, I actually recommend you set it to Light because the performance difference is very, very small, but the battery life difference and the temperature difference can be very, very high. So I think it's worth it to set it to Light. Also in Device Care, we have this Auto Optimization tab. This is basically a series of processes that happen in the background, automatically done by the S24, and that are meant to preserve performance on the phone for as long as possible. You know, when you buy a new phone and it's very fast, but 1, 2, 3 years later, you start noticing the phone becomes sluggish, slower, choppy, or even buggy. Well, this tries to prevent it. To activate it, you have to tap on Auto Restart right here and select one of the two options. Restart when needed, which is going to let the phone choose when to restart, and Restart on Schedule, which is going to let you choose the time and day when the phone restarts. Coming back to the main settings page, let's now talk about some of the new AI features on the S24. Let's come all the way down to Advanced Features, tap on Advanced Intelligence, and here you'll see all of the new features and functionalities that use AI to give you a better experience or a new experience that you didn't have before. So first, we can click on Phone to enable Live Translate. If you enable this option, you can, well, quite literally translate in real time any conversation with any person to any language you want. So say you speak English, but the other person speaks Spanish and you don't really understand Spanish. Well, you can translate in real time what that Spanish person is saying to English so you can better communicate with that other person. This is very useful, especially if you're abroad and you're trying to communicate with someone you don't really understand. It can really save you in those situations. We also have the same feature for typing. So if we click on Samsung keyboard and we tap on Chat Translation and turn it on, we will have the same auto translation we had for phone calls, but for chats, for texting. Also, if we tap on Samsung Notes and activate Note Assist, we will get a bunch of new AI functionalities on the Notes app to save you a lot of time and improve your typing experience. Actually, let's tap on the Notes app so I can give you a little demo. If you click on any note on your phone, you'll see there is a new icon in the bottom. This is the AI icon you'll see all over the system for the AI features. If you tap on it on the Notes app, you'll see there's a couple new functionalities you didn't have before. You can auto-format it to any style you want, so you can make it more formal, you can make it more casual. You can also summarize it, so you can get the most important information out of that text. Very useful if it's very long and you don't really have a lot of time. You can also correct the spelling, which is also very, very useful, especially for people trying to send the text to someone else, maybe to your boss or to a job colleague, and you don't want to make any mistakes. You can correct it. And then, of course, you can translate it, like you did with phone calls and text, to any language you want. We also have AI on the voice recorder. So if we tap here, we go to Summarize Transcripts and turn it on. We will be able to summarize or transcribe any voice memo in our phones. So if I record a little voice memo on the S24 just to show you how the feature works, I will be able to either create a summarization of that voice memo with the most important information, or I will be able to create a whole transcribe word by word of everything that I've said on that voice memo. So let's stop here. And as you can see, if I tap on test and then I tap on transcribe right here, it's automatically going to create a transcript and a summary of what I said. It doesn't really get it right a lot of times. As you can see, it thinks there's two speakers talking when it's just me talking. And then on the summary, well, it did what it could. Of course, there's not a lot of summarization you can do on a 20-second voice memo. But the cool thing about a lot of these AI features is that since they use machine learning, every new day they do it a little bit better. So in a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's probably going to do a much better job. We also have AI on Samsung Internet. So if we tap here and tap on summarize, turn it on, we will be able to summarize entire websites with the click of a button. So if we come to a random article like this GTA 6 leaks essay, we can tap on the AI button that's also down below. We can also tap on summarize. And as you can see in a couple of seconds, it is going to very fast generate a summarization of the entire article. So you don't have to read the whole thing to understand what it says. And well, one of my favorite AI features on this phone is the photo editor. It is also one of the most famous features. You've probably heard of it. If we enable it, we will be able to do pretty much whatever we want to our photos. So let's tap on edit so I can give you a little demo. Let's tap right here on the AI icon, and the phone will greet us with the editor, which may not look like a normal editor because there's not a lot of options to use or to tap, but that's because everything is done by the AI on the phone. So let's just hold on my dog. It is automatically going to understand, oh, this is a dog. It's going to frame it entirely so we can move it around, make it bigger, make it smaller. In this case, I want to make it disappear. So I'm going to tap on the erase button and I'm going to click on generate. And in a couple seconds, I'm not really sure how good of a job it is going to do because it really varies depending on the photo, but it's going to attempt to generate a new image without a dog. As you can see, it's neither very good or very bad. I think it did a okay job. Of course, you can tell this area is a little different. The grass has a slightly different color. But hey, at least it is not terrible, and there's absolutely no sign there was ever a dog in this picture. There is also another very useful and very famous AI feature on the S24, and that is circle to search. To use it, we just have to tap on the bottom of the phone and hold, which will greet us with a new Google menu, and then we just have to circle anything we want on the screen, and it will do a smart Google search to show us the most relevant information about the thing we've circled. In this case, I've circled my dog, so it's going to first off tell me the breed of the dog, a little bit more information. It's going to show me images, articles. It is going to show me questions people have asked. It's going to show me other similar things people have looked for when they looked for border collies. You can circle and search anything you want on your phone, including icons on the homepage. Just let me circle the gallery. As you can see, it is going to do a search on the gallery icon for the S24. Now, one of the most hidden AI features I've seen is drawing assist. If we tap on the edit button right here, and then we tap on the drawing icon at the bottom, we will be able to draw anything we want on the image, as you can see. Now there was three different types of pencils we could choose from. The normal pencil, thinner pencil, and ink pencil. But now there is a fourth pencil, the AI pencil. And if you tap on it, you will be able to generate AI drawings based on what you are currently drawing. So let me try to do an ice cream. Let's try to do it as best as I can. There it is. And as you can see, very fast, it understood I was trying to do some sort of ice cream, and it's giving me 3 different ice cream options. Let's choose this one. And as you can see, just like that, I have a much better drawing of an ice cream that I can make bigger. There it is, bigger, smaller, put anywhere I want on the display. So if you are not very good at drawing, this can make things a lot easier. Now, there is another very important setting I want to touch on, and that is process data only on device. If you enable this feature, every AI functionality you've seen in this video will be executed on your device, meaning the AI processing happens on your processor, on your phone. It doesn't happen on Google servers or Samsung servers, and therefore your data photos, videos, text messages, news articles, whatever, is not going to any company's servers, so they don't have access to that information. This is automatically turned off by default, so if you use any of these features, you will be sending your information to those companies' servers, and they can theoretically access that information if they want. This theoretically is not an issue. You could trust these companies, but if you don't, you can just turn this on and, well, all the AI features are going to be a little bit slower, but Samsung, Google, whatever company, they won't have access to your data. It will be completely encrypted on device, and nobody but you can access that information. Moving on, coming back to the main settings tab, let's click on connections. Let's click on Wi-Fi. Let's click on the three dots at the top right, and let's click on intelligent Wi-Fi. Here, if you scroll all the way down, you'll see that the last tab is called intelligent Wi-Fi. You won't see the connectivity labs tab that I have on my phone. If you want to enable it, it is very easy though. You just have to tap on intelligent Wi-Fi a couple times until you see a banner that says connectivity labs has been turned on, and you'll see that automatically at the bottom there's going to be a new tab called connectivity labs. If you click on it, you'll see there's a whole new array of settings for your connections that are a little bit more technical, maybe not for the average user, but that doesn't mean that you're not useful. So first off, if you click on Home Wi-Fi Inspection, then click on Start, select your internet connection and hit Next, the S24 is going to tell you whether you have a good internet connection at home or if you don't. If you do, you'll see this message, excellent, your home Wi-Fi network is well configured. But if you don't, you'll see another message which will lead you to click Next and do a home Wi-Fi inspection. This is basically a new functionality on the phone that lets you scan the entire house for the best placement for your router and the best placement for your phone, on top of the weak spots where Wi-Fi is not as good, so you don't go to those places if you need to do something important. Also, if you click here on Customize Wi-Fi List Settings and you tap on Show Band Information, you will now be able to see what band you are connected to, the 2.4 gigahertz band or the 5 gigahertz band, which is the good one. So if we come to the main settings again, we click on Connections and we click on Wi-Fi, as you can see below the name of my connection, now it says I'm connected to the 5 gigahertz band. You saw it switch actually a couple seconds ago from the 2.4 to the 5. And this can be very useful because, as I said, the 5 gigahertz connection is much better, much faster than the 2.4 gigahertz. So if you're going to do something important, like downloading a big file or making a video call, then knowing whether you're connected to the good Wi-Fi or the bad Wi-Fi can be very interesting and very useful. Now, for the next tip, you actually have to download a small app. Let's come to the Samsung store. Let's click on the search icon and let's type good luck. As you can see, I've already downloaded the app. It is a very tiny app made by Samsung without any ads. It is completely free, so don't worry. But it's going to expand the functionality of your phone in a lot of different ways. When you first open the app, things are going to look a little different than the way they look on my phone. You'll see all of these packages, let's call them packages, but they will be a little bit bigger and have an install icon because you'll have to download each one of these packages individually. As you can see, there's two kinds of packages. Makeup packages, which are meant for designing and improving the looks of your phone, and then there's Life Up packages, which are more functionality based to give you more customization on the things you can do with the phone. I actually recommend you download all of the packages like I've done because they barely take up any space on the phone and they can be very useful. Of course, I cannot show you every single package because the video would be 2 hours long, but I'm going to show you my favorites. First off, let's click on Wonderland right here. Let's click on Create Your Own Moving Wallpaper. Let's now click on a random image. If you don't like any of the images here, you can actually tap on the plus icon, go to your gallery and choose any image you want. But in this case, for the demo, I'm going to choose this landscape image. And then let's tap on the edit icon right here. So first off, we can enable and change motion effects. So if we set the X, Y, and Z axes, we can now get sort of like a parallax effect, similar to the one we had back in the day on the iPhone. You can also add images, text, video, particle effects, particle presets. So let's add one of those. Let's add rain, for example. Let's make it a little bit shorter. And as you can see, we now get a kind of realistic rain effect on the phone. You can tinker around and try things as much as you want. As you can see, it's based on layers, so you can delete one of these layers, and the rain is going to look a little bit different. And if you delete the other layer, there's not going to be any rain. So there's a lot of customization you can do. Also, a little bit below, you'll see Navstar. This is another one of my favorites. If you tap here and hit start and you allow, we then turn it on and also turn on enable extra gesture setting right here. We will have a new third way to navigate around the S24, which unfortunately is not here. We have to come back to the main settings. We have to come down to the display settings, scroll down to the navigation bar settings. And as you can see, we have the two classic ways to navigate the phone, which are buttons and swipe gestures. But now if we tap on more options, we will see a third way to navigate the phone, which is basically almost like a mix between the two other ways to navigate. So it's like three different buttons, so to say, but instead of clicking, you have to swipe on the buttons. So if we swipe here, we go back. If we swipe here, we go home. And if we swipe here, we access the multitasking. It's like a mix between the other two ways to navigate the phone. But anyways, now that we are on the display settings, let's stay here for a little bit longer. As you can see, there's a classic dark mode and light mode, which is going to make everything white instead of dark. A lot of people seem to think dark mode saves a lot of battery life, and I'm here to tell you that is simply not the case. I've done a lot of testing with this phone and the S24 Ultra and other cheaper Samsung phones, and there doesn't seem to be a noticeable difference in battery life when you use it with the dark mode enabled as opposed to having the light mode enabled. So if you prefer the way light mode looks, you can actually leave it on. It is not going to burn your battery life. Also this year on the S24, we have a new tab we didn't have before called Adaptive Color Tone. If we enable it, it is basically going to change the temperature of the colors on the display based on the environment to make it a little bit more appealing to the eye. As you can see, if I turn it off, you probably won't be able to notice because it's very subtle. There's a slight color shift around the display, making everything be a little bit warmer. Maybe it's a bit more noticeable with the light mode on. As you can see, if I turn it on, makes everything a little bit warmer. And then if I turn it off, it goes back to a slightly cooler tone. Now you can also choose on-screen mode between the classic vivid style, which is the way Samsung displays have always looked, a little bit more punchy, a little bit more contrasty, and the natural tone, which is a little bit more dull, a little bit less appealing to the eye, but it also tries to be more true to life. So if you're trying to get color accuracy on your phone, you can actually tap on natural and get a more natural look. Something you should also know is that here on motion smoothness, you can choose between two different modes. Adaptive, which goes up to 120 Hz, and standard, which is always at 60 Hz. Something a lot of people seem to believe is that standard saves more battery life because since the display is refreshing at 60 Hz instead of 120, technically that also burns less battery. But what a lot of people don't know is that on adaptive, we are actually not at 120 Hz all the time. It is actually adaptive. It goes from, I think it is 10 to 20 Hz, all the way up to 120, depending on what you're doing. So the average between the lowest and the highest is actually around 60, like on standard. So you don't really save battery life by being on standard. In fact, I highly recommend you leave it at adaptive because you get the smoother motion of 120 Hz while saving more battery life because, for example, right now when the display is not moving, it goes all the way down to 10 and 20 Hz. If you scroll down a little bit below, you'll see the screen timeout options. There's 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 1, 2, 5, and 10 minutes. In this case, I think it comes pre-defaulted with 1 minute, which is very, very low. I recommend you leave it at 10 minutes. Ideally, I would leave it at indefinite. I don't want the screen turning off without me turning it off, but this is the best we can do right now. And I also heavily suggest you turn on keep screen on while viewing. So if you're watching a video or a movie and you're not tapping the phone, you're not touching it, the phone will be able to identify you're looking at it and not turn off, even though it's been 10 minutes or more without you touching the phone. Now, probably my favorite feature on the display tab is camera cutout. This is going to let you choose between two different layouts for your apps, either full screen showing the camera cutout or no full screen hiding the camera cutout. I'm pretty sure this has happened to you 1 or 2 times where you download an app that doesn't really look like the rest of the apps. It has this ugly black bar at the top that makes it look inconsistent as opposed to every other app on your phone. And you don't really know what to do about it. There's no clear way to make this look like everything else. Well, there is actually a way to make it look like everything else, the camera cutout setting. If we tap here and then scroll all the way down until we see the app that has the ugly black bar at the top, we will be able to select between hiding the camera cutout and showing the camera cutout, which in that case will make it full screen, show the camera cutout, and make it look like every other app on your phone. Also, on the display settings, we have access to the Edge panel. If we turn it on, as you can see, there's going to be a new little bar at the top right of the phone that we can actually swipe from and access this quick menu with the most used apps. You probably knew about this. It is one of the most well-known features on Samsung phones, but there's a lot of customization we can do on it. So if we tap on Edge panels right here, we can actually expand its functionality beyond apps. So if we tap on panels, we can select apps, people, smart select, tasks, weather, tools, music, reminders, a clipboard. We can make it show and do pretty much everything you can do on the phone. So now if I swipe from it, it is going to show me the apps like it's always done, but I can also swipe to access all of the other functionalities for the Edge panel. This is very useful if you like using the Edge panel, so you can expand its functionality even further. Moving on, I want to talk about the camera settings on this phone. So first of all, as you can see, we have 3 different cameras we can use on the phone. The 0.6, which is going to be an ultra-wide camera, the 1x, which is the main camera, and the 3x, which is a zoom telephoto camera. But as you can see, if I tap, I just have to tap on the 12 megapixel icon right here at the top, it is going to show me 50 megapixels, which is a lot higher resolution. It's technically much better. But now, all of those icons to choose and pick between the different cameras have disappeared, and I can only use the 1x camera on the phone. This is because out of the 3 cameras on the S24, only one of them, the main camera, has 50 megapixels. The other 2 have 12, so they can only be used when the phone is on 12 megapixel mode. So we just have to tap on 50 megapixels to come back to 12, and the other cameras will show up again. It is a very similar story for video. So by default, it's actually set at full HD 30 FPS, which is a little low for 2024. I actually recommend you set it to Ultra HD or 4K at 30 FPS, and you can still use all the 3 cameras on the phone. Now, what if you feel tempted to use it at 8K resolution? Well, you will lose, as you can see, the ultra-wide camera and the 3x camera, because to use 8K, I think you need 30 megapixels or more, and there's only one camera on the phone that has 30 megapixels or more, which is the main camera. I personally think the sweet spot is 4K 30 FPS. That's the way I use all of my cameras on all my phones, and that's the way I recommend you use it on the S24. Now, one of the most annoying things on this phone when you first get it is that here on the bottom, we have a video mode, a photo mode, and a photo portrait mode. That's it. For every other option or mode on the phone, we have to tap on here on more and then click on whatever other mode for photo and video we want. What a lot of people don't know is that you can actually tap and hold on a specific mode and bring it to the main menu just like this. Or even better, take a mode you're not really using and put it on the More tab so it doesn't waste any space and you can put something else you will actually use. One of the coolest modes on the S24 is actually dual recording. This is going to let you record two videos at the same time, one from the selfie camera and another one from the rear camera. So you can actually react to what you're seeing on the display. If you're a creator for TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, this can be very helpful because it almost lets you react in real time without having to use two cameras and then edit the two recordings together. This can be very useful for that. If we tap on this little icon at the top left, we will access the camera settings straight from the camera. And there are a couple things I want to show you here. First off, if we click on Intelligent Optimization, we can choose between three different options. Maximum, which is going to make you process every image to the phone's maximum capabilities, but also introducing a little bit of delay and making you wait a little bit until you can take the next image. You have medium, which processes the images a little bit less, so the phone is a little bit faster. And then minimum barely processes the images you take, but also makes the phone be super fast. Now, the faster the phone, the less quality image you're going to get and the worse it is going to look. So on minimum, your photos are going to look noticeably less quality than on maximum. I actually recommend you leave it at maximum or medium because the delay or the time it makes you wait is not really that high. Now, another very useful feature on the settings are the grid lines. If you turn them on and come back to the camera, you'll see there are now like 4 little bars, white bars, separating the display into 9 squares. This is basically a feature used on professional cameras to better frame whatever you want to show on your photos or videos, and therefore take better pictures and make better movies. This is not going to show in the end result, and you don't have to remove it in post or anything like that. Now, if I scroll all the way down, as you can see, I have a feature called Camera Assist. You probably won't see this tab on your phone. If you want to access the Camera Assistant, you have to come back to Good Luck, the app we downloaded earlier. You have to come to the Life Up tab and download Camera Assist, which is right here. If you downloaded all the packages like I said before, you probably are going to have it already. But if you don't and you want to access the features that I'm going to show now, you have to download Camera Assistant on Good Luck first. That being said, let's tap on Camera Assistant. Here you'll see a bunch of new settings for the camera you didn't have access to before. First off, you can enable a 2x crop zoom shortcut, which is going to let you crop on the main camera to get another focal range, which is 2x. So now you have 0.6, 1, 2, and 3. You can also enable or disable auto HDR. I would actually suggest you turn it off because it's going to make images look artificially good, even if the image was not supposed to look good. It kind of makes everything look a little bit fake and unnatural. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll see there's a tab called Camera Timeout. I heavily suggest you leave it at 10 minutes. This is the time of inactivity from the last time you touched the phone. It takes for it to shut off and leave the camera, which can get a little bit annoying if you leave it at 2 minutes. Now, for a quick tip on the keyboard, as you can see, we have a tab above the number row with a bunch of quick functionalities like AI, emojis, save, copy, settings. Well, there's more functionalities. If we tap on the 3 dots right here on the right, as you can see, we have more modes. Translate, extract text. Well, we can actually tap, hold, and include those functionalities on the main menu, or get some of those functionalities we don't really use and take them out of the main menu. But anyways, let's come back to the main settings page for one of the most useful settings on the phone. If we scroll down to modes and routines, we tap on routines and then we click on the plus icon on the top. We will be able to create automated actions on the S24. There are ifs, which are things you do, and thens, which are things the phone does in response to your ifs. Let me create a little demo routine so you can see what I mean. If we choose an if or thing you do, as you can see, there's a whole range of options of things you can do that will trigger another action from the phone. In this case, let's open an app, for example, the calculator. So if I open the calculator, then we can choose for the phone to do anything we want. In this case, let's, for example, disable the Wi-Fi. If I open the calculator, the phone will disable the Wi-Fi. Let's hit save. Let's name it calculator, give it a different color, hit done. And we have a new operational routine, which I'm going to demo right now so you can see it's true. The phone, as you can see, is currently connected to the Wi-Fi. Let's open the calculator app. And now the phone is not connected to the Wi-Fi because I opened the calculator app. And if I leave the calculator app and wait a couple seconds, you'll see the Wi-Fi icon turns back on. There it is. And what's really cool is that you can take it one step further. You can add multiple ifs for one then, or multiple thens for one if. So we can actually add another app, like for example, the calendar, that will trigger the Wi-Fi to turn off. So if we hit save, the routine is updated. And now if we open the calendar right here, as you can see, the Wi-Fi is turned on. If we open the calendar, the Wi-Fi will automatically turn off. And if we leave the calendar, the Wi-Fi eventually will turn back on. There it is. Now moving on, let's learn to customize the lock screen on the S24. If we scroll down to wallpaper and style and we click on the lock screen icon right here, we will be able to customize the widgets, the time, the weather, everything that is displayed on the phone. As you can see, if I tap on the time and day, I can make them bigger, I can make them smaller. I can actually also choose between different fonts. Right here, let's choose this one for the demo. And I can also select a different preset like this one, or this one, or this one. And of course, whatever preset I choose, I can also make bigger or smaller. Same story for the widgets. So if I tap on the widgets, I can delete them and add new ones. For example, this battery one. I can add a clock one like this one. And last but not least, I can choose what quick actions show up at the bottom of the phone. So if I tap on phone, I can change it to anything I want. Any app that's available on the phone, I can choose to be a quick action on the left, and same for the one on the right. If I tap on it, I can change it to be the flashlight or the voice recorder or a video game, anything that I want. Now let me show you how you can speed up the animations on the S24 and make it look and feel a little bit faster. If we scroll all the way to the bottom and we tap on About the Phone, we then tap on Software Information and then tap 8 times on build number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In my case, it says developer mode has already been turned on, but in your case, you'll see a new icon at the bottom of the settings called Developer Options. Here, you'll have a whole range of different settings, more meant for developers. This is not for the users, but there are a couple settings here that you can change to make your experience as a user a little bit better. So if you scroll all the way down until you see window animation scale, transition animation scale, and animator duration scale, you can actually change the preset from 1x to 0.5x on all of these different toggles, which is going to make animations work at double the speed. So if I leave the app, it's noticeably faster. If I scroll between the tabs on the homepage, if I scroll to the left, if I tap on a folder, if I leave the folder, everything is going to feel a little bit smoother, a little bit faster. And well, technically, you can also make things look a little bit slower at 2x, 5x, or even 10x. So if I set it at 10x, everything, oh my God, it's going to feel super slow and super calm. Moving on, let me show you some notification settings on the S24. If we scroll down to accessibility, which is right here, and then we tap on advanced settings, you will have access to a new notification toggle called flash notifications. There's camera flash notifications and screen flash notifications. As you can see, camera flash notifications are going to make the camera flash beep, so you can know if you receive a new notification. In this case, I don't really recommend screen flash notification because it's not necessarily better than a normal flash, normal pop-up notification that you get by default. But I think camera flash notifications can be really useful for those apps you don't want to miss anything from. So the cool thing about this is that you can actually tap here and choose what apps get the camera flash notification treatment. So you can disable all apps and just enable it for phone calls. So if phone calls are really important, you don't want to miss any phone call because you're a lawyer, because you have a job that requires for you to answer every call or something, you can turn on the phone calls, and every time you get a new phone call, the flash is going to beep. So whether your phone is facing upwards or downwards, you're far from the phone, close to the phone, you'll see the phone clearly beeps with a lot of light, so you won't miss those phone calls. Now, if you scroll from the main settings page down to home screen, you will be able to choose the amount of apps that fit on the home page, on the app gallery, and on folders. So if we tap on home screen grid, we will be able to choose between 4x5, 4x6, which makes everything look a little bit smaller, 5x5, and 5x6. On the app screen grid, it is the same story, 4x5, 4x6, 5x5, and 5x6. And for folders, there are two options, 3x4 and 4x4. A little bit below, you'll find the rotate to landscape mode toggle, which, if you turn on, will give you access to a landscape mode on your S24, which is very useful for those times when you're using a landscape app like a video game or YouTube or something like that, and you have to leave the app for one specific thing, which makes you rotate it back to vertical for that one thing and then rotate it back to landscape again. If you have landscape mode enabled, you won't have to switch back from vertical to horizontal ever again. If you're using a horizontal app, you can keep it at horizontal all the time. Now, as many of you know, there is a very fast and convenient way to transfer photos, videos, and files between Samsung phones, which is called Quick Share. So if we tap on the share icon and then tap on Quick Share, we will see all of our Galaxy devices. We just have to tap on the one we want to send the image, video, or file to, and then in a couple seconds, depending on the size of the image or video, the other phone will receive that file without any quality loss. So as you can see on the S24, the picture is 65.5 megabytes, and on the S24 Ultra, the picture is also 65.5 megabytes. There is absolutely no quality loss in the process. The problem is that if you want to send that image to another phone, like an iPhone, there is no clear way to do it, apparently, because there is a way to do it. If you tap on the share icon, you go back to Quick Share, and you tap on QR code or link, you can create a custom Samsung QR code, something like this, that apparently is customized for Samsung, but that also works for every other phone. So if we take a picture of this QR code with the iPhone, there we go. It is going to give me a link that I can tap on and access the image from the S24 and download that image without any quality loss. Once it's downloaded, we just have to tap on the Downloads tab, click on the image, click on Share, and then save it to the device. As you can see now on my photo gallery, I have the same image that I had on the S24 with the same size, so also no quality loss. Let me show you. It is 65.5 megabytes to the dot, so no quality loss in the process, just like when I sent it to the S24 Ultra. I really hope you found the video useful. If you want more tips and settings for the S24, please let me know by liking and subscribing. Remember, you have the best cases for this phone down below in the description, links for Amazon. And well, that being said, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one.